Orlando Pirates progresses to the CAF Champions League semi-finals. Orlando Pirates made it to the CAF Champions League semi-finals. This is after defeating MC Alger of Algeria by 1-0 on aggregate. Remember, the first leg was played in Algeria on the 1st of April. That was the first leg of the quarterfinals where Orlando Pirates emerged 1-0 victorious in that match through a goal scored in the second half by the youngster Kota, who came on as a second half substitute. So the second leg was played last night at Orlando Stadium. Orlando Pirates hosted MC Alger and Orlando Pirates. They played to a goalless draw, therefore taking Orlando Pirates through to the CAF Champions League semi-finals on aggregate by a goal to 0. So this is the first time that Orlando Pirates are reaching the semi-finals in 12 years. The last time Orlando Pirates reached the CAF Champions League semi-finals, it was in 2013, where they went all the way to the final only to lose to the then champions Al Ahly. So this has been in the making for 12 years. So it's a big deal for Orlando Pirates, and we need to congratulate Orlando Pirates. Not just a big deal only for Orlando Pirates, but it is a big deal for South African football. It is a big deal for South African football because now we've got, for the first time in South African football history, we've got two teams in the CAF Champions League semi-finals, being Orlando Pirates and Mamelodi Sundowns. So this has put us in a situation where actually we've got an Egypt versus South Africa, because Egypt are represented by two teams as well, which is Pyramids and Al Ahly. Then Orlando Pirates are represented by Mamelodi Sundowns and Orlando Pirates. So for the semi-finals, Orlando Pirates will take on the Pyramids. Orlando Pirates will take on the Pyramids, and the Pyramids are currently leading the league in Egypt. The other semi-final will be between Mamelodi Sundowns and Al Ahly. So it's a South Africa versus Egypt scenario, and this is good for South African football. And I'm saying this is good for South African football because if you even look in terms of the South Africa's national team, this is Bafana. That team is mainly of players from Mamelodi Sundowns and Orlando Pirates. And what also makes it even this exceptionally a good situation for us to find ourselves as a country, that Orlando Pirates are playing with lots of youngsters. You look at the player that I'm talking about, the player that scored in that first leg of the quarterfinals out in Algeria, Kota, who, by the way, his goal is responsible for taking Orlando Pirates through to the semi-finals. Kota, he's only 20 years old. You see, then you've got Relebile Mofokeng, who has become a star in South African football, who has now broken into the Bafana national team, has also scored a goal in the recent World Cup qualifiers against Lesotho, Relebile Mofokeng. Now you've got even another young player who's playing as a defender, a 19-year-old Bekezile Mbokazi, who's playing regularly for Orlando Pirates in this competition. He's part of the national team's under-20 setup, and you can see even the C national team coach, Hugo Broos, the Bafana coach, has spoken about Bekezile Mbokazi, that it is only a matter of time that Bekezile Mbokazi will break into the Bafana team. So as you know, there's a FIFA calendar that is coming up in June. There's going to be friendlies. So he has promised that he's going to look into players like Bekezile Mbokazi. So you see how the national team now is benefiting out of this. And what makes this even an exceptional moment is that Orlando Pirates are using young players. These are players who are going to grow into household names, who are already gaining. Can you imagine gaining this experience at the age that they are in, these young players? This can only be good for South African football. This can only be good for South African football because now, by the time these players are 24, 25, they will become households, and by then they will have gained so much experience about playing in the continent. And Bafana are going to reap the benefits of that. And by the way, just to mention that as a way of closing, that Stellenbosch are also in the semi-finals of the CAF Confederations Cup. Right? Orlando Pirates and Mamelodi Sundowns are in the semi-finals of the CAF Champions League. Stellenbosch FC are in the semi-finals of the CAF Confederations Cup, and they eliminated the giant of Egypt, Zamalek. In the quarterfinal stages, for them to reach the semi-finals, they defeated Zamalek out in Egypt. You see, So we need to congratulate these South African teams that are doing so well, and must say big ups to Orlando Pirates and the coach Jose Rivero. Despite the criticism, since joining Orlando Pirates, he has been under so much scrutiny and criticism, whereby people they criticize the way Orlando Pirates plays. Sometimes Orlando Pirates will play good football, attacking football, not get results, then will still be bashed for it. Then when Orlando Pirates plays defensively and get the results, he still gets bashed for it and all of that. But I think especially when it comes to the knockout stages and all of that, considering that he's a coach in 2.5 seasons, has won 5 trophies, knockout trophies, he knows how to play knockout football. So people are critical of him in terms of how Orlando Pirates have been playing since the quarterfinal stages, comparing to how the Orlando Pirates played in the preliminary stages and in the group stages. So Orlando Pirates were playing attacking football all the time. Doesn't matter whether home and away. But now since he's gotten to these knockout stages, has approached the things differently. So people are becoming critical. People like Benedict Villagazi and others, and Lindo are becoming critical of him, how he plays. But I think he understands. And I agree with people like Bobu, who say, but beautiful football, fancy football does not win you the CAF Champions League. And they make a good reference with the referencing to the Mamelodi Sundowns was coached by Ronnie Mukwena for the past 2 seasons where they were knocked out at the semi-final stages. At the time, Mamelodi Sundowns were playing the best football in the continent. No one came close to them, but they still couldn't get through. So you need to adjust your tactics at times. So if you need to play ugly for you to get the results, then you must do so. So I think people need to understand that. Let's not question the coaches too much and all of that. He knows what he's doing. You see. And a lot of Pirates who speak now, a lot of Pirates are in the Nedbank semi-finals, are still chasing for the league title. And they've already won the MTN 8. So it's been a good season for Orlando Pirates. So we do not need this kind of negativity where we want to delve into the tactics, how the coach plays and all of that, because he's been granting those results. Of course, we want to see an expansive Orlando Pirates. We want to see that attacking Orlando Pirates that we saw in the group stages and all of that. But sometimes the moment calls for you to play in a certain way, for you to be able to grind the results. That's my view. That's my view. So say congratulations to Orlando Pirates, guys. What did you make of the Orlando Pirates quarterfinal tie, the match that took place last night? The less said about the violence that is perpetuated by the North Africans, the less said. Those are hooligans. The less said about it, the better. So what did you guys make of the game? Did you enjoy the match? What did you make of the tactics and all of that? Just engage in the comment section below. Thank you very much for tuning in. Please remember to subscribe to this platform, Total Football TV, and remember to like, share, and comment. Thank you very much.